Hello everyone, Lemmy here, and this is my director's commentary for the summer special, also known as The Sea Monster of Salted Sea Lagoon. And even now, I think that's a stupid name. Right off the bat, I wasn't really planning on making this movie like I was for the Halloween special. Me and Bertna were just sitting on the beach one day, and she was like, "Hey, Lemmy, let's, no. I was like, let's make a movie." And I was asking her for suggestions. And so she was like, maybe it's like maybe it was like a sea monster, and it's actually my mother, and stuff like that. So, and yeah, there's Bertna herself. We actually used her daughter as child Bertna. This is, her husband, and her son right there, Cameronius, and my cousin, the same one that came up with the Forgotten, over there in the background. The mom, or the sea monster mom, was actually in the background of one of the shots, so we had to refilm it. But yeah, we just came up with this on a whim. We were only at this beach for like a week, so we had a week time frame to film, and so that's why the movie's pretty short. Although once I had the idea of a sea monster down, I pretty much had the whole script, like I had it done almost immediately after that. It just all came to me. I was like, oh, maybe she's a member of the Coast Guard. And there's Rayquaza. Speaking of Rayquaza, there was in that Pokemon plush series from before, that's Worcestershire sauce. In the plush series I was speaking about before, Rayquaza was like a big part of it. He was like a character that Link plays argue with a lot and like even like strangled. I remember showing it to Emily, another friend of mine and member of my channel. So this part was actually me calling her from upstairs. She did such a great job. I always just make the main characters jackasses normally. I just love doing that for some reason. There is my grandpa. At least one of my grandpas. And he's actually a fisherman in real life. So last minute, I'm like, "Hey, you want to be in the movie?" And he's like, "Sure." And yeah, I made a mistake here. He's facing the camera and not Bertna. He was at first, but I just fricked up. That was my fault. The reason this scene is so long is because I wanted him to just start rambling and go off script because I wanted it to feel natural. And he did, and I actually couldn't use his first take because it was so hilarious, and although it didn't make any sense in the context of the movie. You can see it in the bloopers. It was home in the garden, and I pulled out a pickle and pulled out a cucumber and started banging it with the cucumber, or something like that. All I told him to say was to freaking that someone got murdered down south, and that was actually to connect the movies. And I had actually shown him the Halloween special, even for reference. Although I was planning on doing this anyway, and I was watching the movie like, maybe we should connect the movies. And Bertna's like, yeah. He's talking about Godzilla in this part. That was not scripted. But yeah, I really just wanted him to just go off because I feel like that would be really enjoyable. And sound like him, because he does ramble. So I want, and it would make it for a convincing performance. I think he did fantastic. There you are. I feel like I didn't make it very obvious, but that's supposed to be what I name her, Ophelia, dead. Okay, so I actually wanted to name all the characters after, what are they called? After, like, Shakespeare characters or something, or like, either Shakespeare or, mainly Shakespeare, but also like ancient Greek theater. You see that more in like the Summer Special 2, which is we film at the beach again. I planned this year, 2024, to film another beach one. So, Tubular Tyler is supposed to be die in this scene, but he wasn't here for the recording this day when we were filming this part. So I took off my shirt and pretended to be Tubular Tyler, and then I put it back on to pretend to be the Orange Sea Monster. This part originally had the freaking Titanic music, but obviously that would get me copyright claims, so I didn't use that. I thought it would be hilarious if this was not scripted, this part. I thought it would be hilarious if I just acted like a monkey, even though I'm supposed to be a sea monster. Sorry, an ape. It's so hilarious just watching me go ballistic from afar. My butt crack. That didn't come out right. And also I'm taken out by waves. We filmed this for like a few minutes before I just, so we had to cut out a lot of stuff, and that's why in the bloopers there's so much of me just back there doing stuff, because I wanted to see what we could use. And here is, who's supposed to play as Bertna's mom. Now first of all, you could even see the people nearby were like, is she drowning? And I'm just filming like, I can't imagine what they were thinking, like, is that person drowning and they're just filming them? Or no, the fact that I was filming them probably realized, but I mean, look at her. She didn't have it good. And then that got like 1,000 views, of the bloopers of this part. And her coworkers started really, I don't know. She did amazing though. They all did amazing. And also, that was not scripted, that part where she was with her childhood self, but it worked because I zoomed out as she said, my entire life, what am I supposed to do now? So I just somehow made it work. She's getting very sandy. It's cool. Oh, and I decided to cut, like, do random jump cuts to make it even funnier. Of course there's a little bit of seriousness in there, but I mean, come on. And then this was not scripted. This kid just ran into her. Oh yeah, we found a dead horseshoe crab and I wanted to use it for the movie. It's kind of morbid now that I think about it. But basically that was supposed to be like her remains. The ocean is cool. You could literally see her in the background of that shot. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't mean for that to happen. So I'm like, what if that's actually her imagining her mom? So I barely made it work. And you could see Cameronius walking in there with his green shirt right at when it's at the end, and I'm like, that's going to be the villain for the next movie. No, he was not. But wait, he was in Summer Special, so I guess it was foreshadowing in a way. So yeah, mainly, we only had a week to film this, so we just really, there was barely any time to film. But they all did so amazing. Yeah. Now, this part, you'll see in a sec. This part. So, on the last day, right when we had to leave, I was like, I want to connect the movies more. So, I'm like, you see my blue shirt there, and I was like, maybe the sea monster is now in the beach house that Bertna had, even though we thought the sea monster was dead after it hit a wave, which makes no sense. So I'm like, what if Joshua Jonathan comes in from outside into that same beach house? And then it would be like a cool way to connect the movies, like right here with Joshua Jonathan. And you'd be like, oh wait, this is the wrong house. You got the Carolinas mixed up. It makes sense. But I was watching the footage back, and I'm like, I always wanted to keep Joshua Jonathan's, what's it called? His shirt consistent, and then I realized, oh wait, he's wearing the same shirt as the sea monster, so I'm like, what if they're the same person? And so that's how I came up with that. And that led the premise for the next movie.